Phase 6 is about to slam the Multiverse Saga into high gear, and Marvel Studios has been teasing pieces of classic comic events across shows and movies. From Daredevil, Born Again to Spider-Man, Brand New Day, to the massive tentpoles Avengers, Doomsday and Avengers, Secret Wars, there are comic storylines that feel built to be adapted to the MCU. Today we're ranking the top 10 comic arcs Phase 6 could, and probably will, borrow from street-level revolts to full-scale battle worlds. Which ones are most likely? Which ones would be the most cinematic? Let's count down. Devil's Reign chronicles Mayor Wilson Fisk's full-scale war against New York's vigilantes. In the comics, Fisk outlaws superheroes, unleashes the Thunderbolts as his private police force, and targets Daredevil with a personal vendetta. Matt Murdock responds by uniting the city's vigilantes and street-level heroes in a grassroots uprising that ultimately topples Fisk's corrupt regime through sheer collective resistance. Daredevil, Born Again Season 1's ending set the stage for a similar insurrection, ending with New York citizens joining forces to rise against Fisk, led by Daredevil. Season 2 has already confirmed Jessica Jones' return, which in turn raises the likelihood of seeing Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Colleen Wing, Misty Knight, Elektra, and White Tiger join Daredevil in a live-action Devil's Reign. While Spider-Man almost certainly won't appear due to rights restrictions, the comic's core plot may translate perfectly to Season 2. John Byrne's Vision Quest storyline from West Coast Avengers depicts Vision being dismantled, rebuilt, and stripped of his emotions and memories. The Avengers scramble to understand what has happened while Vision himself confronts the existential horror of becoming a blank slate. Ultimately, Wanda and Vision part ways, and it takes Vision a long while to gradually return to his former self. The MCU's Vision Quest promises to adapt the core conflict of Byrne's story. Paul Bettany's White Vision received a taste of his original identity from Westview's Vision. In his Disney Plus show, White Vision will go on a journey to recover the rest of his memories, crossing paths with whatever remains of Ultron, and possibly his reincarnated children, Billy and Tommy Maximoff. Although Wonder Man made his debut in an Avengers comic, Peter David's 1985 Wonder Man #1 reintroduces Simon Williams at a pivotal moment in his life. He has finally escaped the shadow of his criminal past and is trying to balance his unlikely double life as both a rising Hollywood actor and an up-and-coming superhero. Wonder Man doesn't participate in any world-threatening battle. Instead, he fights low-level threats like an army of goblins. The trailers for the MCU's Wonder Man series confirm that Marvel Studios is focusing heavily on Simon's human life before fully turning him into a superhero. It's Hollywood's satire and exploration of Simon as an actor first and hero second seem ripped straight out of Wonder Man #1. Hopefully, Marvel Studios' Wonder Man is consistently personality-driven and avoids the trope of ending with the hero defeating a powerful supervillain and stopping a world-ending threat. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon's The Punisher Volume 5 is one of Frank Castle's most brutal runs, famous for its pitch-black humor. It pits Frank against the monstrous Ma Nucci, matriarch of the Nucci crime family. After Frank kills her sons, Ma launches an all-out war on him. In Volume 5's most infamous sequence, Frank throws Ma into a zoo enclosure, where she's mauled by polar bears but somehow survives, reduced to a limbless, skin-shredded husk, after which the Punisher punts her into a fire. Ma Nucci is reportedly the main antagonist of the Punisher's special presentation. A special presentation can compress all the mature content from the Punisher's Netflix shows into a 1-hour-long story, which is perfect for Frank's conflict with Ma Nucci. The villainous repeated returns from the brink of death would be even more darkly comedic in a shorter period, making her more memorable than a main or secondary villain role in a show or a movie. After One More Day erased Peter Parker's marriage and reset the majority of his story, Brand New Day introduced a fast-paced, episodic structure in which Peter Parker rebuilt his life from scratch. Peter found himself juggling new jobs, failed romances, and a renewed commitment to street-level heroism. It also debuted new villains like Mr. Negative and Menace, expanded the Daily Bugle cast, and made Spider-Man an even more down-on-his-luck street-level hero. While the MCU's Spider-Man Brand New Day will follow Spider-Man No Way Home's very different setup, the core themes still align. Peter will rebuild an erased life, forge new bonds, and re-establish himself as New York's anonymous defender. Spider-Man Brand New Day may borrow elements such as Peter's financial struggles, a more grounded tone, and a return to classic street hero versus city crime and corruption themes. The Amazing Spider-Man number 129 marks the explosive first appearance of the Punisher, introduced as a lethal vigilante manipulated into hunting Spider-Man by the Jackal. Driven by a rigid belief that he's executing justice, Frank Castle becomes one of the most dangerous new forces in Peter Parker's life. Issue number 135 deepens their dynamic with a deeper look at Frank as a tormented assassin rather than a simple antagonist. John Bernthal's Punisher is retroactively part of the MCU since 2016's Daredevil Season 2. However, Spider-Man Brand New Day marks the first time Frank Castle crosses paths with Spider-Man, at least on screen. The MCU may not replicate every 70s plot beat, but the core premise of Frank hunting Spider-Man under false assumptions only to realize Peter isn't his enemy fits perfectly. The original Avengers Forever assembles a hand-picked Avengers team from across eras and alternate timelines to battle Immortus, Kang's future self. The 1998 story directly involves the Timekeepers attempting to erase timelines that would spawn dangerous future Avengers. Kang interferes, clashing repeatedly with Immortus while the Avengers travel through multiple eras and ultimately witness the Timekeepers attempt to collapse the multiverse. Avengers Forever's 2021 iteration centers on the multiversal masters of evil, who conquer entire Earths and wipe out alternate Avengers. Robbie Reyes becomes the All-Righter and joins forces with the multiversal Avengers recruited by the lost Loki variant Avenger Prime. The conflict culminates in a massive multiversal war across the God Quarry, with armies of Avengers from countless universes fighting the Masters. Originally, Avengers, the Kang Dynasty and Avengers, Secret Wars seemed to be moving in the direction of an Avengers Forever adaptation. Now that plans have changed, Marvel Studios is likely mixing inspiration from both Avengers Forever runs and other multiversal stories to create an original plot involving a fractured multiverse and various superhero teams recruiting each other to face Doctor Doom. Most of Avengers Forever's characters may be absent, but its main conflict may prevail. Time Runs Out is the 8-month time-skip storyline that shows the Avengers and New Avengers racing to stop the final incursions destroying the multiverse. Captain America leads the main Avengers team while the Illuminati operate in secret, using world-ending weapons to decide the fate of alternate Earths. S.H.I.E.L.D. becomes militarized, the Cabal exploits collapsing universes, and everything ends with Earth 616 and Earth 1610 colliding. Avengers Doomsday seems perfectly positioned to reflect the escalating multiversal collapse shown in Time Runs Out as the MCU prepares for Avengers Secret Wars. The Avengers facing multiversal enemies, time jumps, secret breakaway teams, and catastrophic ethical decisions match the Time Runs Out blueprint. The MCU already set up incursions in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and the Marvels, so Doomsday is likely where these consequences hit full force, leading directly into a 2015 Secret Wars-style collision event. Marvel's original Secret Wars is a 12-issue crossover where the omnipotent Beyonder teleports Earth's greatest heroes and villains to the patchwork planet Battleworld. The Beyonder commands them to fight, promising to grant the winners anything they desire. The 1984 event introduces lasting concepts: the first Battleworld, Spider-Man's black symbiote suit, Doctor Doom stealing omnipotence, and the earliest large-scale cosmic contest involving nearly every major Marvel character. Even if the MCU bases its finale primarily on its 2015 counterpart, 1984's Secret Wars remains the blueprint for a cosmic war in which heroes and villains from all corners of Marvel are forced to coexist. The MCU may borrow key elements such as an omnipotent orchestrator, a battle world built from collapsed universes, and villains temporarily siding with the heroes. While outdated by today's standards, the original Secret Wars defined how big a universe-ending crossover should look like. Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars annihilates the entire Marvel multiverse in a chain reaction of multiversal incursions, leaving only scraps of surviving realities. Dr. Doom seizes the Beyonder's power and constructs an upgraded battle world, made from countless universes, where Doom rules as a literal god. The story follows survivors like Reed Richards, Black Panther, and Miles Morales as they navigate Battleworld's domains, and ultimately challenge him for the fate of all existence. Avengers: Secret Wars is almost guaranteed to adapt 2015's Secret Wars. With Robert Downey Jr. returning as Dr. Doom, the MCU now has the perfect focal point for Doom's God Emperor arc. Meanwhile, Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four will likely be the movie's main characters, with Franklin Richards in the middle of their rivalry with Dr. Doom. The collapsing multiverse, God Emperor Doom, and Reed's final confrontation with Doom feel all but inevitable. Those were the 10 comic arcs most likely to shape Phase 6, from the gritty city rebellion of Devil's Reign to the cataclysmic Secret Wars that could remap the multiverse forever. Which of these are you most hyped to see adapted, or scared to watch? Tell me your top pick and your dream casting in the comments. If you liked this breakdown, smash that like, subscribe for more MCU theory and Phase 6 previews, and ring that bell so you don't miss any updates. Thanks for watching. See you in the next Multiverse Deep Dive.